Mandela Effect from the 1980s has been identified. This is an early example of a scientifically studied instance of the Mass Memory Discrepancy Effect, of which the Mandela Effect is a subclass. The background is that after the tragic atrocity of the Bologna Central station bombing, the blast stopped the clock at 10:25 on August 2nd, 1980. Many photographs were taken of it at this moment and used as a symbol when reporting the story. It was quickly repaired and worked then normally from then on. However, it broke in 1996, and as an act of remembrance, its hands were set to 10:25 AM and it was not repaired. A team of Italian psychologists then decided to study the false memory phenomenon surrounding the clock. They found that most people thought the clock had been stopped for the entire 16 years since the explosion. Now, this included many staff that actually worked at the station during this time. Many travellers who would have seen it on a daily basis and relied on it as well also thought this. There was no term for the MME at this time, but it sounds to many like the early documentation of a Mandela effect or a large-scale alternative memory situation. We administered individually a formal questionnaire to 180 healthy participants. 90 were male and 90 were female. They were all familiar with the Bologna station, working there or commuting there. The relevant questions focused on whether the interviewees remembered the clock working normally or as set at the time of the explosion during the 16 years in which it had been working. Of the 173 participants who knew that the clock had now stopped, 160, which is 92%, stated that the clock had always been broken. 127, 79%, further claimed to have seen it always set at 10:25. Now, this also included, astonishingly, all 21 railway employees. Most interviewees did not know that the clock had been working for over 16 years and stated that it had always been broken. From the 173 people who knew that at the time of the testing the clock was stopped, a subgroup of 56 citizens who regularly take part in the annual official ceremony of the event has further been considered. Only 11% of them correctly remember that the clock had been working in the past. Now, once this made news in the Mandela Effect community, some interesting observations were made. For example, a Reddit Mandela Effect sub, I found this. I am Italian, all I can say is, no effing way. This is literally the first time in my life that I hear such a thing about that clock. Literally everyone in Italy can tell you that the clock was stuck at 10:25 AM from 1980. I was in such disbelief when I read OP that immediately I did a Google search about this matter in Italian. I found this interesting news article from Michele Sara, a very well-known journalist here in Italy. The article is from August 2001, and believe me, I'm struggling to find the words to describe the impossible disbelief my mind is battling with while writing this. Translated to English. Forced by the explosion, the clock was struck at the very time of the massacre, but it was fixed somehow in the following months. There is only one problem though. No one noticed. People from Bologna and the rest of Italy were totally positive that the clock did show ever since and forever the exact time of the massacre. They were so positive about this fact that no one noticed the clock working from 1980 to 1995. Now, when it broke again in 1995, following a request from the railway union, the clock was stuck at 10:25 AM. But you can't find a single citizen from Bologna that is not convinced that the clock was actually stuck from 1980. We are left here asking each other, is it really true that the clock worked from 1980 to 1995? And how come we didn't notice? So yeah, most people will say that this is just people misremembering something. And maybe it was, but when you've got people who actually worked at the station, not remembering this correctly, it adds another level to it. And as I say, it's been scientifically studied and the percentages are very high. So it's a very, very interesting occurrence where, you know, most of a town basically and vast numbers in Italy believe that this clock was, you know, always broken. So yeah, very interesting. I'll be definitely looking into things like this in the future because I do find these interesting. If you found this interesting, a like would be amazing, a sub would be absolutely fantastic. Thank you very much for taking the time to pop by. Have a nice day. Thank you.